Generic greetings! Scrap Mechanic is a multiplayer survival game with creativity and ingenuity at its core. After playing for a couple of hours, however, I would say it's about making awesome cool trick rides, driving around in this really colourful sandbox, and having a bit of fun. So, I'm going to show you a bit of it. Now, it is in development, so the typical disclaimers apply. TLDR, it ain't finished yet. So we're going to go to new game, and then we're going to go to creative. I'm assuming there's going to be survival world at some point and other things like that, but at the moment, just creative, because as I said, it ain't finished. So we're going to have a generic world one, and we can either have this like sort of hilly randomly generated one or just a flat world. We're going to go for one that's randomly generated. We're going to say private, and we're going to have it as GP one, so hopefully nobody will join in when I actually start this up. We can go to settings, and we can set like things like max players and thrusters and other parts and stuff. We don't really care about that. And then we'll create it. As I said, it is multiplayer, so you can have more than one people and like play with your friends and stuff. But I've only tried it single player. So I'm Mechanic. Welcome to Scrap Mechanic creative mode. Blah 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 blah. You can walk around and do things. So is it randomly generated? Yes, it is. This is different from when I first playing it. Yeah, because I've played about a couple of. I've created a couple of worlds just to see if it is randomly generated, and it seems to be. First thing you'll notice is it's very colourful, very bright, and very stylized. I do like it. It's a nice place to be. So let's just have a quick run around, and what can we see that is of interest? Well, I'm actually looking for a sort of flat bit to build. Is sort of flat over here? It is sort of flat over there. So we'll go over this area, and then we will start building something. I think what we need to do is build some sort of vehicle and then have a little drive around. So how do we do that? Well, if you're ever stuck, the first thing that you will get is this mechanic's handbook, and you open it, and it pretty much tells you everything you need to know about all of the parts in game. There's also some really good videos that they've done, so I recommend you watch that. It tells you about the hotbar, what the buttons are. It's really good. Plus 10 generic like approval points for this, because unlike a lot of games that are in early access where it just doesn't tell you how to play stuff, all the fundamentals are in here, and they've nailed them all down and teach you how to use them, so that's good. Anyway, so let's place down a lift, and that will allow us to build things on us. There's a lift, there you go, and we can make the lift go up and down, and what I really like is it can just go to like sort of ludicrous height, which is all the way up there. There we go, and we'll come back down. So we'll drop it down, and we need to make a vehicle. So I'm going to, I think, move. Do I want to place this on here? I could place some like random blocks so I can go all the way to there. Hang on, there's like a base unit there, and there's no real limit of how much you can make. So there's like a base unit for a vehicle, but maybe that's a bit too big. So we'll actually use right click to get rid of that. Left click will build stuff. Right click will delete it. Hang on, we just need to make sure that we're doing this right. We're not doing this right at all. Delete that. Hang on, delete it, please. There we go. So we'll delete all of that. I'm pretty sure I said delete all of that. Delete all of that. Yes, there we go, and that deletes it. Now, if you cut this bit off, you can see it will drop down. It's all simulated, so you have to be very careful. So let's just cut all of that off. You can change the way things drag by pressing Q, and that rotates things. So it's instead of going like along, it'll go up. But if you're building on, or if you're deleting rather, on a plane that already exists, then it will just follow that path. So there we go. Let's just delete that. Get rid of all of these. I could actually just delete the whole thing with a button, I believe. I think there's a button just to delete everything, but we're just going to scrap part of this one. Now, obviously, it's connected up to this thing, so I don't want to delete it too much, and I think that should do us. Right, so this is a very small vehicle, so obviously not big enough. So we're going to build it to like a, I don't know, say a 1, 2, 3, and then we'll pull it back to, say, there. And then we're going to do the same to this side. What would be nice is when you're actually clicking and dragging, it gives you some numbers on how many blocks wide or thick it is. That would be quite nice. Just so people like me who really like symmetry stuff, you know, you could actually go, I don't think that's big enough, and or you can see like the overall size of it. Also, a symmetry thing would be nice, but again, it's in development. We can expect some bits missing. So what am I going to do? Well, that is so far the back end of this vehicle, and I think what we need to do is make a little bit of a front. So we're going to go from about there, and then we'll say build up to there. All right, there we go. So there's a base of a vehicle. So we're going to rise it up. What else do we need? Well, a vehicle needs some wheels. So we do have some wheels. I can put some wheels on there. However, that will not work because wheels they don't work like. I was going to say like Gary's mod, but I don't know. I know a lot of people have not really played that. But when you place wheels on that, you can place wheels like so, and they will spin freely because it automatically assumes that you want a wheel to spin. In this, it doesn't. You have to use these things, which are like axles, right? So, yeah, they're called axles. We can press inventory and actually have a quick look. They are called a bearing, sorry. They're called a bearing. So we can place a bearing there, and then we can attach a wheel to it. But I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is actually bring this down a little bit by, say, I don't know, we'll crouch down a little bit. Say 2 and 1, 2, and then we can go 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Now, I'm aware that I'm not putting any suspension on this, so this might be a little bit interesting to drive. I'm going to get rid of that bit and actually put some more back here. I'm going to try and make the back end a little bit more stable. So we're going to have a bearing there, and then a bearing there, bearing there, and bearing there, and then finally bearing at the front, 1 and then 2. And then what we're going to do is shove some wheels on that, and you can... it's all, it's very, very nice. All the noises and stuff and all the detail in it is quite good already. So we're going to shove them on. There we go. So we now have an vehicle, right? And we can pull it through the floor. We can rise it up and just go, yeah. Okay. So what we want to do is get rid of the lift. And then we'll fall. Bump. And then we can actually push it along. Can we? Come on. No, we can't. Okay, that's not going to work. So what we'll do is we'll click on that with a lift, and then it allows you to reposition it. There we go, and we'll put it back up. So what else do we need to do to make this drive? Well, I think some sort of controller system. So this thing here is like a pilot seat. I'm gonna put it down. And then we're going to put a controller seat on it. That is in the wrong area, so we want to rotate it. And we're going to shove it about there. Is that in the center? It is roughly in the center. No, that is in the center. That's good. Pull it actually a little bit further forward, because what I want to do is make this thing mid-engine. Now, there's a couple of engines in the game. This is the gas engine, I believe. Again, you can press I at any point and look at it. That's a gas engine description. Engine with a fixed speed and adjustable power. So there we go. Ideally suited to powering vehicles. So now I've got an engine. I've got a sort of a controller seat, and I've got these things here. So you might think that's going to work. Well, it's not. We need to connect it up. You do that with the connection tool, this thing here that looks like the scanner thing off Ghostbusters. So we've got all these blue dots, which indicate that we've got the different, I was going to say axles, but these are bearings, and then we can connect them up to this one, which is the engine. So quick, simple, you click and drag. All right, there we go. And each engine, I believe, can have only 5 connectors. Is that right? Yes, okay, you've got max number of bearings. So what I'm going to have to do is actually remove that one there. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to remove that, which is a shame. I don't know why you would have 5 and not 6. I don't know why there's a max limit either. So we're going to put them like that, and then what I'll probably do is just remove these because they're not really doing anything. So we'll get rid of that, we'll get rid of that, we'll get rid of, hang on, we'll get rid of that, and that, and then that, and then that, and that. All right, there we go. So that thing is now connected up to them. And that is now connected up to that. There we go. So, will that work? Well, sort of. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me just drop this down. So, if I jump on it and get in the vehicle. Hang on. And there we go. I jump in. There's my character there. And you can see I'm turning. And I can go... I can't go forward and back. I'm trying to go forward, but it's not moving. Hang on, I know why. If I go back to the engine and press E to use, you can set an overall limit for the engine. So don't do that, because the thing will pretty much wheelie out and you'll be all over the place. I'm going to say power level 2, and then we're going to close that, get in, and we can drive. We cannot drive forward. I'm guessing that it's actually under the ground. So we're going to put it there. We're going to rise it up, and then we'll drop it to the deck. There we go. Ah, right, it's not driving. Now, why is that? Well, I've figured it out. For a start, what we haven't done is fix the wheels. You can see that that bearing goes that way. That one goes that way. That goes clockwise. These ones, however, are going the other way. So we need to rotate that round and rotate that round. So now they're all facing the right way. If we drop that from the lift and get in, press forward, we can now go forward. Let's just turn left. Oh, we haven't got a left or right. How can we fix that? Well, again, just put it on the lift. Quite easy. And then we'll rise it up. And then what we're going to have to do, sadly, is pretty much get rid of part of this. So we're going to get rid of that. And, oh, damn it, that's dropped that off. And we're going to drop that off. And that's going to be problematic. So let's just get rid of them. Let's just pull them off. We didn't see that. Right, cool, that's gone. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to put an bearing on the bottom, like that, 2 bearings, and then we're going to have another couple of these blocks. Now, the bearings don't have any appreciable thickness, right? So you can just connect them up like that. And you're thinking, well, now the cover, that's going to be a little bit problematic, but it's not. Let's just continue on and see how far we get. What I'm going to actually do is put an extra... Oh, actually, we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that bearing and that bearing and put them on like so. 1... and then 2, just so the wheels will turn a bit better. Hang on, we can't put the wheels on. You need to put the bearings on. There we are. Put that bearing on. Then the wheels. Okay, now we need to connect that bearing up to the engine and that bearing up to the engine and make sure that they are going the right way. They are now. Now, these bearings here, these are the ones for the steering. And instead of connecting them up to the engine, you connect them up to the center, the steering part. There we go. And then we'll drop that right down. And then we can get in. And now we can drive forward. We can turn left and right. Although for some reason I'm pressing W and it's turning the other way. So what we're going to have to do, quite simply, get out. And then we'll rotate the bearing, job done. And there you go. One vehicle that's actually really, really slow. So I'm going to get out and I'm going to have a little alter of the engine. I reckon about there we should do it quite nicely. This thing is made out of, I think is it steel? No, concrete block. It's a concrete block. You've also got things like barrier and tile block. It says medium weight, heavy weight. It doesn't give me any precise details, but there you go. Whoa, okay, this thing's got a little bit more power now. Now, one of the things it doesn't really tell you is the actual statistics of these things. So it doesn't tell me like the toy. Hang on. There we go. It doesn't tell me like the torque of these things or the acceleration or the deceleration. It's just like a generic unit of power, which is something that you might not like. I'm like say from sort of Gary's mod level of building where I really like to know and can alter everything to do with like torque and friction and everything else. But anyway, you can see that it's not great, this thing, because, I'll be honest, I've got no suspension on the thing. So I could put some suspension on and it would be a little bit better. And it's also a little bit too powerful, so I'm going to stop it. I'm going to get out. I'm going to actually just alter that. Hang on. That one there. We want to use that. And we want to pull the power down to about there, I think. There. Okay. That's a little bit better. There we go. I really like the front bit where you can see this is our like mechanic on the front, and you can see like the hands are attached to the wheel and their ass is attached to the seat, and the rest just sort of flops around all ragdolly. I really like that, especially when you go over jumps and stuff. It's pretty good. Right, so that is a very, very, very basic vehicle. So let's just get into another nice area. What we're going to drive on. This is, like, say, is randomly generated. We're going to go... Oh, good grief. Where else can we go? We can go over... here? Some like corn and stuff. I'm looking for the... there's, like, a launch pad generally in one of these places. Oh, God, that was a big crunch. I don't know why they've got, like, sort of corn and... what's this, like some wheat and stuff. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they're all over this place. It's not a... Oh, God, this is a bit of a tight hill, isn't it? Come on, it's a bit steep. Power. We're like Clarkson now. And then we're up the top. Right, can we make this one? I have no idea, but we're going to give it a go. You can see that it's not an unlimited sandbox. You can see it only goes to a certain distance. You can actually see the... I think just through them trees, that's not working at all, is it? No, we can't get up there. Right, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and alter this vehicle so we can get up there. So, yes, as I said, it's not an unlimited sandbox. You can see just over there. Hang on, we can zoom out a little bit. You can see just over there, there's like a fence, and that goes all the way around. So the world is not very big at all. Again, at the moment, though. So, can we get rid of this? No, we can't. This hammer really doesn't do anything. I wonder if you hit your own vehicle with it. Oh, yep. You could probably just push your vehicle up by hitting it, and yeah, let's not do that. So, get the lift, and then we'll shove it there. One of the things I'm not a fan of is that, obviously, the lift can go up and down, but for you to build something on the top, there is no way for you to get up, because you can't place another lift. You can only have one lift. As you can see, if you place another lift, it will remove it from the other place. So, yeah, there we go. So, it'd be nice somewhere for you to look up, but either way, we can't really do that. So, what we're going to do now? Well, I think we should get up that hill. So what's the best way of doing that? Let's have a quick look at our inventory. And while I do that, I need a sip of beverage. Today's building beverage is a nice cup of tea. So these are all the parts that are currently in the game. We've got sport suspension, off-road suspension, we've got lights, we've got radio. Let's place some radio. We'll get some tunes going. So we're going to place the radio about there. Hang on, can we place it on the vehicle? We could probably place it on the vehicle. Let me bring it down. We'll rotate it round and we'll place it right in the front there. No. Yeah. Tunes. Right, okay. So, what we need to do is get rid of that radio because we won't be building anymore. And already, that's actually making it more difficult. Right, so we can place... what have we got? We've got some electric engines. We've got a controller. We've got a switch. We've got all sorts of stuff. I think, however, thrusters are the way to go. So, what am I going to do? Well, also the tools that you've got are on this side here. A mighty sledgehammer will let you push items around by hitting them. We don't need the sledgehammer. We're going to get rid of that. We also don't need the handbook. And what else? What do we need? We've got some nice little signs. A lot of these are just what would you call it? Sort of just show-offy type pieces. Bits that don't really... I mean, you can use them in building, but the more decorative pieces. Anyway, so we've got... nice little girders and stuff. I think what we're going to do, we're going to place some thrusters on here. So I can, if I really wanted to, just shove and thruster on the back there. But I'm not a big fan of that. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, I think, probably one of the best features that is in this game. And that is the controller, right? The controller is a really powerful piece of equipment in the game, and it allows you to set up like commands for the entire system. So I'm going to put it right in the center there because it's nice and out of the way. So what do I want to do with that? Well, what I want to do, I want to have this thing so we have rocket engines in this thing, but we have it connected so we can't see it, right? So we have a rocket engine, probably, or maybe 2 rocket engines in like a pod, and then they open out to the side and then pushes up the hill, just because it'll look pretty cool, okay? So how we're going to do that? Well, I think the best way of going about that is if we roughly measure where this thing can go. So what size is it? I think it's about 5 blocks tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And then what I'll do is I'll place a wall here like that. Like that, right? And I'll just check to make sure that that is... It's actually 4 blocks, but that's okay. So that now fits in there. That's good. So what else do I need to do? Well, what I want to do is I want to place that there. And then I want to place that on the side. Like so. Hang on. Get rid of that. I'll place that there. I want to place it further along. Like so. Alright. Now you might be thinking, why am I doing that? Well, that's because I want to be able to put that in the center-ish. And then I want to be able to rotate that bearing in there. Alright, so if I connect the bearing up to the controller, you can see it now gets a 1 on it. So that's bearing number 1. If we go to the controller, we can now see that is bearing number 1. It shows you its start rotation, which is currently 0. And on the first tick, and you can set up to 10 total commands, I want it to go 180 degrees positive, right? So positive, if we look at the bearing once more, positive is that way, so it's clockwise. So that should spin over to that side. So what I'm going to do is place a button. So there is a button there, and we'll place that. It doesn't really matter where we place it, but we're going to shove it just there. And then we're going to connect up the controller to the button. There we go. And we're going to connect up the button to the center, right? Now what that means is we can control the button while we're sitting on that seat. What we're also going to do is go to the other side and place a button there, because we want to also connect up the jet engine to that button, and then the button to the center as well. So that looks really confused, but just bear with me for now. So there is all that put in. Now I should, if I press this button here, that should turn on the jet engine. On. Ah, remove the lift to power the switch. Okay, I need to remove the lift. I'm not going to do that because I don't fancy this jet engine just going way and powering over there. What about this button? I have to remove that. Okay, I need to remove the lift. Fine, remove the lift. Right, so let's just try the jet engine. Jet engine is now on. And yeah, no, you've got no health. Cool. Right, so that activates, that jet engine is functionating. So we can turn that off. Now this button here, if I click it, it hopefully will make that thing rotate. It does, but it didn't connect all of these up. So let's get rid of them. But we know that that now rotates. Excellent. So what I'll do, I will put it on the lift. There we go. And I'm going to bring it down. Ah, damn it. When you put it on the lift, it goes to position 0. So I'm going to have to build it off the lift. So I'll rotate that up like so. And then we will place the parts I need there. And then another one will go there. Alright. And then we'll have a jet engine. We could have it on there. Or instead, what's the best way of having this thing? I think we want it to fold out because it'll look cool. So what I'm going to do is put a bearing on the bottom currently, which will actually be the top, and then we'll place that there and then that there, right? And then, because it's not on a lift, you can see it's now spinning freely, which is not good, but we can, we'll be fine. When you put it on a lift, it will lock it in position. So what I want to do is spin it back round. Come on, spin round it. It's not going to work, is it? Right. I'm trying to think. That should be over that side, and that'll be on the top. Let's put it back on the lift, and we'll see what happens. Boom. So there you go. It is now back on the lift, right? So that should be... That'll go that way. And then I want this thing to turn. So if we put that, and then that, and we put that on there, right? Then we will connect up the controller, or that bearing, to the controller. Hang on. That bearing to the controller, rather. And then that to the button number 2. Right? That now is bearing number 2. So what I want to do, I want that to unfold that way, and then this to fold out. Now, let's see if I can actually make this work. So we'll go to the controller. So bearing number 1 is going to rotate 180 degrees on step 1, and then I don't want this to turn at all until it gets to step 2, in which case I want it to go 90 degrees, and then hopefully that will rotate the correct way. Positive is towards me, so yes, that should work. I say this with almost no confidence whatsoever. So, shall we try it? Yes, I think we shall. Let's press the button and rotates out, and that rotates out the side. That actually functions very, very well, apart from the fact that it hits itself. So let's try and see where the problem area is. Right, it's this. So if I get rid of that and get rid of that, now it should function correctly. Oh, no, there's still a bit of an issue there. Okay, maybe that. Still a little bit of an issue. And there, maybe. Try it again. Still a little bit of an issue there. Okay, try it again. That is about right. Oh, no, there's still some problems. I need to be over there to really see what's happening. Ah, it's still hitting that. Right. Okay. So that should be fine now. Yeah. Oh, right. So that seems to fold up quite well. Right. That functions. So now it's just a simple matter, very, very extreme, just a simple matter of copying exactly what I've just done. Oh, no, that is not the right button. Hang on. Right. Open that up again. There we are. So let's just follow that same design. So it is... Hang on, this is where it gets problematic because I need to be up on top of the vehicle. There we go. Right, so it is that. That's wood. Okay, let's not use that. Let's follow the concrete. If this wasn't made out of concrete, I probably wouldn't need a massive thruster. But, you know, whatever. We've started that way, so we'll finish it. So we'll have that, and then we'll have that one on. And then it is that. And then the problem now, as soon as I place it as soon as I offset this thing, it's going to break because it's on a bearing and it's going to swing down. So what I'm going to have to do is then place it on there again, and then we'll rise it back up to there. Right, so trying to mirror this is a bit of a nightmare. So it's going to be across like that and then that. Is that correct? I think it might possibly not be. Hang on, get on the top, and then we'll build it there. Something like that. And then there's another bearing, which is then that, and then that, and then that. And then that is the thruster on that side, and that is sort of what I've got there. It's sort of what I've got. Let's just connect these up. You can have up to 10 bearings connected up to the controller. So we'll connect these bearings, number 3 and number 4. Is that the right order? I am not sure. Let's connect that engine up to that. It's starting to look like an explosion in a wire factory now. So bearing number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Actually, I want to remove them bearings. Remove that. So on bearing 1 and bearing 1 and bearing 2, and then bearing 3, and then bearing 4. 4 is not in the right place. Okay. Get rid of that. 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 Bearing is on top of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jet engine. Connections. Yeah, that is in the right place. And then that over to there. Okay. So, We'll have a look at the controller again. So bearing number 1 and 2 should turn 180 degrees. And then that is step 1. Step 2, it's then 90 degrees for these other two, bearings number 3 and 4. Now, obviously, I do need to make some slight alterations to the chassis. I'm glad at this particular point that there isn't... like physics and calculations for structural integrity, because this thing would snap like a carrot. Also, I don't think... Yeah, that isn't actually as long as it... It's actually offset, isn't it? Yeah, I've messed it up. Let's just see if the button actually works. So we're going to press it and... Let's just remove that, shall we? Oh, one thing as well. Let's see if this is rotating the right way. So positive is that way, so we need to rotate. Because this is the other side, we need to make sure it is the opposite way. So that should, if I've got everything right, which there is no chance of that, going to work. Let's just have a sip of beverage just to calm one's nerves. So here we go. Press the button. That should unfold, and then it'll spin out. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. See, that would have worked if it was the right size. Hang on. Right, this is where a tool is required. Just one moment. Just gonna do a manual override on this. Come on. It's fine. Come on, get up on the ramp, you stupid. Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna remove that there, and there we go. It now, whoa, sort of jumps back into position. Right. So where have I gone wrong? It is not big enough. So it's there. Now this is going to be problematic. Are those two now connected? I have a feeling that those two are now connected. What I'll do then, I'm going to build it like that. They're going to hit each other on the way past, aren't they? They might do. But you know what? I'll see what I can do. This is where you get slight problems. Oh yeah. Did you hear the like little clunking noises? Did you see it? Yeah, that was a bit of shonk on there, but we'll be fine. So we want that going to there, and we want that. Is this correct? I think it is. Not. So it's there, and there, then up. Right. And then that. On there. Let's put it on the lift, actually. Hang on. Get rid of the lift. Right, well, actually, that's gone all together quite well. Bearing there. Rotate the bearing preemptively. Use plus 90. And then this is probably not going to work, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's fine. Everything is just good. I'm amazed. Right, okay, it works. You then can connect up to that button, like so. And we now hopefully... Yeah, there's a little bit of a shake when it goes in, but we're fine. Now, if you wanted to, you could start really messing around and actually connect up like a big dock on the side, like a wooden back end that makes sure it doesn't like break or it's all hidden and things like that. But just for the sake of just progressing on, let's just actually connect these up like that and then see if we can drive it. So here we go. We can still drive back and forward. It is a little bit heavier, but we're going to back up and hopefully try and get up there. Now, remember the original problem? We couldn't get up that hill. So what I'm going to do, you can see there's two buttons on the bottom. That's because I connected them buttons to the seat. So if I press button 1, it should open up the jet engines, and then number 2 will activate the jets. Here we go. Get in. And then we'll fold it back up. I can't believe that worked as good as it did. Oh, I'm actually really pleased, even though this is a very, very basic thing. But you can see just how powerful the controller is. Honestly, it is the best feature that is in this game. To be honest with you, the other features that are in, so like, you know, when you're actually placing things and the other tools and stuff are quite basic, and, you know, they've been copied many a time. In fact, I think there's a lot of cases where they're nowhere near as good as other games where you can, you know, build things, because you know, you haven't really got control of, you've got control of the power of the engine, but not things like traction and other things like that. You can't, at the moment, as far as I can tell, set any way to control, like, for example, I've got, like, left and right control there, but the game just assumes that any bearing, as far as I can tell, it's on that plane as steering. Whereas where it's on the other plane, it's your power. So it's sort of, it's good in one way because it calculates things itself. But in others, you sort of might want finer control. Like I would like to be able to remap all of the buttons. So say that bearing, when it's connected to that, is actually button A, and then that will actually turn it that way a certain number of degrees. Again, just like Gary's mod does it, I guess. So let's just see if we can get up here. But as I said, it is in development, so you can expect these things. And I don't know what they're going to do with that. I like the fact that it is quite easy, and that controller is really, really good. I mean, you can just see, I mean, that is only a 2-step control, and you can have up to 10 bearings on this controller, and, was it 10 bearings on the controller with 10 steps, so you can imagine the amount of things you can make, so you can make all sorts of stuff. Let's just go activate it, and here we go, yeah! Oh, crap. Now we're fine, everything's fine, fine, forward, right, you know what, let's turn that off, and we'll, okay, I thought we had a Shremek like Robot was, but that's just not the case. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out, and if your vehicle does do that, by the way, you can easily just get it back up by using your lift. So there we go. I really want to just activate this, and here we go. Engines, go. Power. And then land. I think I might have hit the ground quite hard there. It's actually went underneath the ground. Let's just use that, and we'll rise it all the way up to there. Job done, and there we go. So anyway, that is a little bit of scrap mechanic. There's other things I haven't shown you. So, for example, you've got another wheel. So you've got a big wheel. I've just used standard wheels. You've also got a sensor where anything that passes in front of it, it will activate something that's whatever's connected to it. You've also got lights. You've got electric engine, which is slightly different from the gas engine and stuff. Electric engine, as far as I can tell, is just like the binary combination of on or off. You've got all these other parts and stuff. So the thing is, with the game, it is about making things with these selection of parts. And like I said, that controller is really, really good. And just because of that, I can say that, you know what? It's got a lot of potential. Without that controller, I would just say, yeah, it's a nice-looking, very simple sandbox game where you build things. Obviously, I haven't tried multiplayer. It might be, I think it's going to be a lot better when you've got like friends and stuff, and you can like do races and whatever. But there's loads of things missing. Like, you know, you haven't got wings. There's no flight. I mean, there is flight, but you've got like jet engines stuff. They're just on and stuff that you have. There's no like rotors or anything like that. There's no lift planes. There's no buoyancy. There's no water stuff. Like I say, the control. You know, actually connecting things up is very, very good, very simple, but also too simple in some cases. Like, you can't really remap what this does to different things. You can't change like the traction on wheels and the friction and the torque and like just tweak things, and I like to be able to tweak things and mess around with it. But if that's not what they're going for, then, you know, fair enough, I can sort of understand that. But that controller, though, shows a lot of potential. You know, if there's going to be more things like that in the game, then I think it's going to progress on to be something really, really nice, something really, really good. As it stands, I like it though. I really do I enjoy just playing around and making stuff. So there you go. That is a little bit of scrap mechanic, and I'm still quite impressed with my like activated rocket engine things. There we go. Yeah. But controlling it when you're in air is pretty much impossible. That's a tree, and we're upside down again. Don't make your vehicle out of concrete. I would not recommend it. Links in the description so you can check it out yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings. Never gets old.